The gun. In the ever-elusive utopia that is yesterday, the gun was revered as a symbol of independence, self-sufficiency, and self-esteem. He who had a gun had the ability to defend himself against the destructive forces that plague society. Sadly, in this age, the gun is also an object of fear, the mercenary, however unwilling, that gives teeth to the mouths of suprematism, prejudice, and xenophobia, and in doing so, gives these forces the ability to consume human life. Forces such as these did so in late April 1996 in the Australian town of Port Arthur, when a man killed 35 innocent citizens and marred the conscience of a nation. In the following months, the Australian government passed a ban on automatic and semi-automatic weapons. In spite of protests from rural sectors and a temporary rise in representation of a pro-gun political party, more than 650,000 guns were handed in, restituted, and destroyed. The Australian Institute of Criminology subsequently noted a rather sharp decrease in the number of firearm-related deaths in the years following the massacre. Many have hailed this policy as an example for all countries who wish to limit gun violence within their borders. Countless political commentators of various skill levels, nationalities, and walks of life wonder to those in the vicinity why America, with its proliferation of mass shootings, continues to be hesitant towards similar gun control policies. The greatest reason, by far, is the Second Amendment to the Constitution of the United States. However, it is no secret that constitutional amendments come with strings attached. The First Amendment, for example, does not offer protections to slanderers. Neither does the 13th Amendment spare prisoners from forced labor. In both cases, the perceivably unconstitutional practice was an issue that could hold profound, widespread consequences for the country if the amendment in question was deemed absolute. This precedent thus begs the question: are mass shootings a problem big enough to justify a nationwide ban on automatic and semi-automatic weapons? In 2016, we lost 33,594 citizens to guns. Out of this population, 22,938 died from self-inflicted wounds. 14,344 died as a result of small-scale homicides. Another 1,305 resulted from accidental shots, battle wounds, and the like. Only 71 citizens lost their lives in mass shootings. Suppose we had a ban on all automatic and semi-automatic weapons that made all of the mass shootings of 2016 impossible. Those 71 people would be here today, and granted, that would be something to be proud of. However, in saving 71 people, we would have made entire American subcultures illegal. Hunting, skeet shooting, most hobbies that require efficient weapons and plenty of ammunition, now prohibited. In addition, we would see a rise in violent robberies. Few Americans realize how many modern guns are semi-automatic, meaning that the user does not have to manually reload the gun every time they fire. Thus, many of the guns citizens keep for home defense would no longer be in the hands of our citizens. These are guns that provide a sort of herd immunity that relegates most robberies to the daytime, when few people are still at home and, more to the point, the burglars do not have to fight their way to the goods. Thus, we are left with the next best option for direct gun control: a partial ban. However, America has already tried such a ban, which lasted from 1994 to 2004. It proved rather ineffective at halting incidents of gun violence, including a certain incident, the 20th anniversary of which we remember today. So we find ourselves seemingly stuck. Sure, a ban on high-capacity guns might save a few people, but it would put so many more at risk through lost jobs, more vulnerable households, and a compromised guarantee of our rights, one that some future hysteria could very well further compromise. But we are not stuck. For so much of our history, we have contributed our resources towards securing guns from potential threats to society, to no avail. Thus, it is logical to approach the issue of gun violence in another direction. Suppose there is a way to not only prevent our mass shootings, but also our suicides and our homicides, and still keep guns in the hands of our law-abiding citizens. That way is not to contain the guns which the destructive forces, xenophobia, suprematism, prejudice, use, but to contain the destructive forces themselves. Very few men kill for the sake of killing. Instead, they kill to destroy their enemy. They kill to destroy those they deem heathens, those they deem threats to the nation's ethical purity. They kill to destroy establishments, be they businesses, schools, welfare centers, churches, who they think unfairly denied them services. They kill to destroy the supposed inferiors, particularly those that demand supposedly undeserved respect. They kill to destroy competitors, those that threaten their societal standing. They kill to destroy the demons of disappointment and perceived inadequacy, even if it is a Pyrrhic victory. My fellow Americans, it is this attitude towards our alleged enemies, not the gun, that consumes human life. Efforts to limit the lethality of guns, such as banning assault weapons or shrinking magazine sizes, do nothing to limit the lethality of this attitude. As long as the forces that carry out homicides and suicides are not adequately addressed, not even a full repeal of the Second Amendment will save us. Instead, we must make efforts to limit the influence of the enemy mindset. We can increase the availability of counseling for those at risk of suicide, such as teenagers and the elderly. We can prioritize the protection of women against men with restraining orders, reducing domestic violence. We can educate our young men and women how to de-escalate conflicts and how to respect those of different backgrounds and worldviews. We can create communities for those at risk for violence or poverty, so that they do not need to join a gang or extremist movement to feel loved and respected. As your elected representatives, the federal government undoubtedly has a responsibility to protect you in this way. However, it cannot do it alone. You, the people of the United States, know your community better than I ever could. Knowing this, I hope to come to an agreement. You find a way to make your community safer, and I, as president, will do everything I can to support you. My name is Monty Stone. Make me your 45th and a half president on November 4th, 2019.